Hey now, hey now, hey now, what's up everybody? My name is Mike Brown, aka ReviewKingMB, and guess what I just got done watching? Gotham Season 3 Mad City. Now, I didn't review last week's episode, but I did eventually see it, and I will admit, it was a pretty good episode. But it's not like I have to eat my words or I have to take things back. No, it was an episode focused on what I already said was the best thing that this season had going for it. The Penguin. The Penguin, him becoming mayor, and Edward Nygma proving his loyalty to Penguin. Lots of twists and turns with the Butch character, so it was very enjoyable. But I wanted to see if the next week's episode could further that, could continue that ride, that roll, and not so much. The episode is entitled Follow the White Rabbit, so we're going back to the Mad Hatter storyline because that's been such a winner so far. We see Jervis Tetch at the very beginning. He pretends to be a limo driver and kidnaps and mind controls, or should I say hypnotizes with his fucking watch, because that was so believable. Look, I'm not saying that this isn't silly as well, but in the comics, Jervis Tetch, he creates this chip that he places it behind your ear, and that's how he can manipulate you. That's how he can mind control you. And I know it's goofy as well, but it makes more sense. I'm willing to go a lot more with that than just him with a fucking clock, waving it and spouting out a couple of sentences. And he controls them to the point where they're like zombies and they do whatever the hell he wants. It's like, come on. I can only suspend my disbelief so far. Now we see Jim Gordon and Valerie Vale. They're talking together, eating together, and she's trying to get maybe an interview or something with Leslie Tompkins to find out about Alice's blood, Jervis's sister's blood. It's not really going well. And then Gordon gets wrapped up in Jervis's new plot, where he forces him to make a choice. And we haven't seen this before, right? Spider-Man 1, Batman Forever with Riddler, where he forces Gordon to make a choice. Either save the married couple who are on top of the roof about to jump off, or save the little kid across the street who's about to get hit by this truck. Not enough time to possibly save them both. Ooh. Now, again, I said I've seen this before over and over again. But usually it's always like you can't save them both. It's impossible. You can't do it. And yet the hero always saves them both. So I will give this show credit for doing this plot and actually having the other group die. When Gordon runs to save the kid, the couple actually jumps off the roof and dies. So that was pretty bold. They killed completely innocent people who had absolutely nothing to do with this and didn't deserve to do it, and they died on their wedding day. How much more could that suck? I will say though, it was kind of funny when they showed Gordon running after the kid in slow motion, and it was taking so long that I thought, wouldn't it be just awful if he took so long to run to the kid? The kid ended up getting hit by the truck anyways, and then he failed to save the couple. Like, they all died. Imagine that. Maybe that's just me. I'm a very sick individual. Now, we get a moment where Jervis, like Gordon, follows where he is, finds this location, and Jervis calls him. And Gordon's talking to him on the phone, and it was kind of a funny moment where Gordon just hung up on him. And Jervis called him again, and he hung up on him again, and he called him again. It made Jervis look like such a dweeb, such a fool. But then he kidnaps Valerie Vale. And then Gordon goes to talk to Barbara because she's really doing absolutely nothing besides when somebody has to come to her and get information from her. And then that's really it. That's her role on the show right now, is to give out information for Gordon. Talk about a reduced role much? Well, he finds out that she told Jervis about some personal stuff about Gordon. Leslie Tompkins gets kidnapped as well, so you have that. Michael Chiklis, we see he's trying to, I guess, also do some investigating. He's failing miserably at it because he has this roid rage. The blood from Alice that went into his eyes, and now he's getting mad and angry, and it's so silly and goofy and stupid and dumb and boring and pointless, and it's just a waste of time. I'm sorry. This is terrible. This is absolutely terrible. I don't know where it's going. I don't care where it's going. Like, I'm not even thinking enough about it to try to guess and predict where it's going to go. Gordon finds Jervis's location, and Falcone's son, Leslie's fiance, shows up, and he looks like such an idiot because he grabbed the gun and then only to find out that Jervis switched the gun and it was a blank, and he looked like a complete idiot. So good job, Falcone's son. Then this whole thing of Jervis wants to make Gordon choose which one he loves. Yada, 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 yada. He has a gun and he's threatening to, even the moment where he threatened to shoot Gordon, it's like, I'm sitting here and there's no tension. There's no suspense. There's no fear of Gordon, especially getting shot, because he's the main character. This is a prequel. We know where he ends up. And plus, this is just a day after The Walking Dead. I mean, I don't want to spoil anything, but that episode really goes for it. That show really goes for it. That just watching this a day later, it's like, nice try, guys, but there's nothing here. There's no worrying. So Gordon outsmarts him and tells him to shoot Leslie. So then Jervis is like, oh, well, that must mean you love Valerie. So he shoots her. And I actually felt bad for Valerie, because out of this whole situation, you know in your head, well, Leslie's not going to die, Gordon's not going to die. The only expendable character that they would shoot is Valerie, because she's not from the comics. She's supposed to be Vicky Vale's aunt or something. Yeah, okay, whatever. She's expendable. But like, I like the actress. The character is even decent, or at least she's making the character more likable than she probably is written. And so I felt bad. She didn't deserve it. She's really caught up in the whole situation. At least they didn't kill her. They brought her to the hospital. They said she'll be fine. So at least there's that. If I was her, I'd stay the hell away from Jim Gordon. Now we get a side plot. Speaking of Penguin and how he had the best part of the show going on, the side plot is that the Penguin, Oswald Cobblepot, is all of a sudden in love with Edward Nygma. Now, I know that Nygma showed some great loyalty, just did a huge thing for him by revealing that Butch was conspiring behind his back and whatnot. Like, that's a huge trust factor there. Sure. And I did notice in the scene last week when they were hugging that it did seem like the Penguin wanted to kiss him. So, like, I'm not saying that Penguin in general can't be a gay character or shouldn't be a gay character. I'm not saying that. This just seems to have come out of nowhere. I mean, when I think about it, I guess this Penguin hasn't really shown any interest, as far as I remember, in any women on the show, right? I guess not. So maybe it is believable. Maybe it's not as out of nowhere as I thought it was. It just seemed like it consumed the episode. It consumed his plot. It was all that he was, like, again, all of a sudden thinking about. We never once saw him maybe make a comment of showing attraction to Edward. Like, maybe if it wasn't so out of the blue randomly, but whatever, fine. I mean, the Danny DeVito Penguin was far from gay. He was very perverted with the women. This Penguin, I guess I could buy liking him. We didn't really know what Nygma's stance on it was, though, because of course he never gets to tell him, because when Nygma is out looking for champagne or wine, he meets Elizabeth, aka Mrs. Kringle. It's the same actress that played Mrs. Kringle, but now she has blonde hair, and I guess she's supposed to be somebody else, which is like, really? At first I saw her and thought, is she the long-lost twin sister that nobody knew about? It's almost worse than that, right? They're not even almost acknowledging that she looks exactly like Mrs. Kringle. They're just going to say that she's a random girl who just so happens to look like Mrs. Kringle. And Nygma, I guess, is going to meet her, fall in love with her, and that's going to derail whatever potential relationship Nygma and Penguin could have had. What was once the best part of this show, I'm not going to say it became the worst, but it became the dumbest, like right back to the level of every other storyline and plot and premise going on this show, on this season. I'm sorry, this episode sucked. It did. I should have reviewed last week's episode because at least that would have been positive, the actual one positive review for Gotham. But now, with this episode, it doesn't deserve it. I'm almost ready to check out with this show because why waste my fucking time, right? So guys, let me know in the comments below if you did see this episode as well. Did you like it? Did you love it? It's totally cool if you disagree. Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Later.